you ever wondered if what you see on television can actually change how you behave, or if technology is making us better or worse off? These are the kinds of questions that psychological research seeks to answer. In this chapter, we'll explore why research is so important, how psychologists approach their studies, and how findings are analyzed and used. We'll also look at the ethical considerations that guide all psychological research. By understanding the process, you'll see how research helps us separate fact from opinion and make better decisions in our lives. Scientific research is a critical tool for navigating our complex world. Without it, we'd be left to rely on intuition or luck, which history has shown can lead us astray. Think about old beliefs like the sun revolving around a flat earth or mental illness being caused by possession. It's through systematic research that we move past superstition and gain real understanding. Psychologists use research to study behavior and the mental and physical processes behind it, always seeking evidence to support their claims. This evidence-based approach is what sets science apart from mere opinion. We all have opinions about the world, but research helps us move beyond personal beliefs. For example, debates about technology's impact on learning or health are everywhere. Some studies show benefits, others show drawbacks, and it can take time for a consensus to emerge. Until then, it's important to think critically about the information we encounter. Ask about the expertise of the source, the evidence behind claims, and what other researchers say. Being an informed consumer of information helps us make better choices, whether in politics, education, or our personal lives. Research doesn't just help scientists, it guides public policy too. Imagine you're a governor deciding whether to fund early intervention programs for children. These programs sound great, but are they effective? Psychologists have conducted extensive research showing that many such programs do produce long-term benefits. By examining the evidence, policymakers can make informed decisions about where to invest resources. This approach ensures that public funds are used wisely and that programs are chosen based on their proven effectiveness, not just on good intentions. Research isn't just for scientists or politicians. We all use it when making important decisions. If a loved one is diagnosed with a serious illness, you want to know which treatments work best. While the internet is full of opinions, academic research found in reputable databases provides facts based on evidence. Librarians can help you find these sources. Remember, facts are observable realities while opinions are personal judgment. Research helps us distinguish between the two, leading to better, more informed choices. Scientific knowledge advances through the scientific method, a process where ideas are tested against real-world observations. This process is circular. Theories and hypotheses are tested, results lead to new ideas, and the cycle continues. Two types of reasoning are key: deductive, testing general ideas in the real world, and inductive, using observations to form new ideas. Both are essential in research, and different approaches may emphasize one over the other. This method ensures that knowledge is built on solid, repeatable evidence. Science, a theory, is a well-developed set of ideas that explains observed phenomena. Theories are too complex to test all at once, so researchers create specific hypotheses, testable predictions, to examine parts of a theory. Hypotheses are often written as if-then statements and must be measurable and falsifiable. This means they can be proven wrong by evidence. As hypotheses are tested, theories are refined and improved, ensuring that scientific knowledge grows stronger over time. Psychologists use a variety of research methods to understand behavior and mental processes. Some methods rely on observation, while others involve direct interaction with participants, such as interviews or experiments. Each method has its strengths and weaknesses, and the choice depends on the research question. For example, observational studies provide rich detail but may not generalize well, while surveys can reach large samples but offer less depth. Understanding these approaches helps us appreciate the complexity of psychological research. These studies focus on one person or a small group, allowing researchers to gain deep insight into unique situations. For example, the study of conjoined twins Krista and Tatyana Hogan has provided valuable information about brain function and sensory experience. While case studies offer unmatched detail, their findings may not apply to the general population because the subjects are often very unique. Still, they are invaluable for exploring rare phenomena and generating new ideas for further research. Naturalistic observation involves watching behavior in its natural setting, without interference. This method provides highly accurate, realistic data because people or animals act as they normally would. For example, researchers might observe children on a playground or animals in the wild. The challenge is that it can be hard to control when or what you observe, and being unobtrusive is essential. Despite these challenges, naturalistic observation offers a high degree of ecological validity, making its findings especially valuable. While naturalistic observation is powerful, it comes with challenges. Researchers have little control over the environment, which means they might spend hours waiting for something to happen. There's also the risk that people or animals will change their behavior if they know they're being watched. To minimize this, observers must remain as inconspicuous as possible. Despite these hurdles, the realistic data collected can provide insights that other methods can't match. Sometimes researchers use laboratory observation, where participants are observed in a controlled setting outside their natural environment. This allows for more structure and control over variables. For example, Mary Ainsworth's strange situation procedure evaluates infant caregiver attachment in a lab setting. While this method offers control, it can introduce observer bias when researchers unintentionally influence results. To avoid this, clear criteria and multiple observers are used to ensure objectivity. Surveys are a common way for psychologists to gather data from large groups. They consist of questions that can be answered on paper, electronically, or verbally. Surveys are efficient and can reach diverse samples, making it easier to generalize findings. However, they don't provide as much depth as case studies, and people may not always answer honestly. Despite these limitations, surveys are invaluable for collecting broad information quickly. Surveys can reveal subtle attitudes and behaviors. For instance, after the events of September 11, 2001, researchers surveyed people to understand attitudes toward Arab Americans. While participants rarely admitted to prejudice, their answers to questions about social interactions revealed underlying biases. This shows how surveys can uncover patterns that might not be obvious through direct questioning, providing valuable insights into social attitude. Archival research involves analyzing existing records or data sets to answer new questions. For example, a researcher might study academic records to find patterns in graduation rates or risk factors for struggling students. This method is cost-effective and can provide insights without the need for new data collection. However, researchers have no control over how the original data was collected, which can limit the conclusions they can draw. Once data is collected, researchers analyze it to find patterns and relationships. One common tool is the correlation coefficient, which measures the strength and direction of a relationship between variables. Correlations can be positive, negative, or non-existent. However, it's crucial to remember that correlation does not mean causation. Just because two things are related doesn't mean one causes the other. Understanding this distinction is key to interpreting research correctly. Easy to confuse correlation with causation. For example, ice cream sales and crime rates both rise in the summer, but eating ice cream doesn't cause crime. Instead, a third factor, temperature, affects both. Correlation simply means two variables are related, not that one causes the other. To establish causation, researchers must conduct controlled experiments. This distinction helps prevent false conclusions and ensures that scientific findings are reliable. Experiments are the gold standard for determining cause and effect. In an experiment, researchers manipulate one variable, the independent variable, to see if it causes changes in another, the dependent variable. By carefully controlling conditions and using random assignment, experiments can show whether a specific factor actually causes an outcome. This method is more rigorous than simply observing correlations and is essential for building scientific knowledge. Basic experiment involves two groups: the experimental group, which receives the treatment or manipulation, and the control group, which does not. The only difference between the groups should be the variable being tested. For example, to test if technology affects learning, one group might use computers while the other uses traditional teaching. By comparing outcomes, researchers can determine if the manipulation caused any changes. To ensure clarity, researchers use operational definitions, precise descriptions of how variables are measured or manipulated. For example, if studying learning, researchers must define exactly how learning will be assessed, such as through test scores or summaries. Clear operational definitions allow others to understand, interpret, and replicate the study, which is essential for scientific progress. Bias can affect research results. Experimenter bias happens when researchers unintentionally influence outcomes, while participant expectations can also skew results. To control for these, studies may use single-blind or double-blind designs. In a single-blind study, participants don't know which group they're in. In a double-blind study, neither participants nor researchers know group assignments. This helps ensure that results are due to the manipulation, not expectation. Placebo effect occurs when people's expectations influence their experience. For example, in drug trials, participants who believe they're receiving treatment may feel better even if they're only given a sugar pill. To account for this, control groups often receive a placebo and double-blind designs are used. This ensures that any observed effects are due to the treatment itself, not just expectation. Experiments: the independent variable is what the researcher manipulates, while the dependent variable is what's measured. For example, if testing the effect of tutoring on grades, tutoring is the independent variable and test performance is the dependent variable. The goal is to see if changes in the independent variable cause changes in the dependent variable. This clear structure helps researchers draw meaningful conclusions. To ensure results can be generalized, researchers use random sampling, selecting participants so that every member of the population has an equal chance of being chosen. This helps create a representative sample, making it more likely that findings apply to the broader population. Random assignment is also used to divide participants into experimental and control groups, reducing the risk of pre-existing differences affecting results. After collecting data, researchers use statistical analysis to determine if differences between groups are meaningful or just due to chance. If the probability of a result occurring by chance is less than 5%, it's considered statistically significant. This rigorous approach helps ensure that findings are reliable and not just random occurrences. Replication is a cornerstone of scientific research. When other scientists repeat an experiment and get the same results, it strengthens confidence in the findings. If results can't be replicated, the original claims are questioned. This process helps ensure that only reliable, evidence-based knowledge becomes part of the scientific consensus. Longitudinal research involves studying the same group of people over a long period. This approach is especially useful for understanding how people change over time, such as in studies of development or disease risk. While powerful, longitudinal studies require significant time and resources, and participants may drop out over time, which can affect results. Cross-sectional research compares different segments of a population at a single point in time. For example, researchers might compare dietary habits of 20, 30, and 40-year-olds. This method is faster and less expensive than longitudinal research, but it can be affected by generational differences that aren't related to age itself. After completing a study, psychologists share their findings in peer-reviewed journal articles. These articles are reviewed by other experts to ensure quality and clarity. Peer review acts as a filter, allowing only well-designed, ethical research to be published. This process also ensures that studies can be replicated by others, further strengthening scientific knowledge. Key concepts in research are reliability and validity. Reliability means that a tool or method consistently produces the same results. Validity means that it accurately measures what it's supposed to measure. For example, a bathroom scale that always gives the same weight is reliable, but if it's not calibrated correctly, it's not valid. Good research tools must be both reliable and valid to ensure accurate findings. Standardized tests like the SAT and ACT are designed to predict college success. Research shows they have some predictive validity, but there's debate about their fairness and accuracy. Some argue that these tests disadvantage certain groups and may not be as predictive as claimed. As a result, many colleges are rethinking their reliance on standardized test scores for admissions. Ethics are at the heart of all psychological research. Today, strict guidelines ensure that studies respect human dignity and safety. Any research involving humans must be approved by an Institutional Review Board (IRB), which reviews proposals to ensure participants are protected. Ethical research is essential for maintaining trust and integrity in science. For participating in a study, individuals must sign an informed consent form. This document explains what to expect, any potential risks, and assures participants that their involvement is voluntary and confidential. If participants are under 18, a parent or guardian must provide consent. This process ensures that everyone understands their rights and the nature of the research. Sometimes, researchers use deception to prevent participants' knowledge from affecting results. However, deception must never cause harm and participants must be fully debriefed afterward. Debriefing provides complete information about the study's purpose, the reasons for deception, and how the data will be used. This transparency is crucial for ethical research. Many psychological studies use animals, especially rodents and birds, to answer questions that can't be ethically studied in humans. Animal research is strictly regulated by institutional animal care and use committees IACUCs, which ensure humane treatment and regular inspections. Researchers must minimize pain and distress, and all projects require committee approval before proceeding. Ethical standards have evolved over time, often in response to past abuses. The Tuskegee syphilis study is a notorious example where participants were misled and denied treatment, causing harm to them and their families. Outrage over such studies led to the creation of strict ethical guidelines and oversight, ensuring that research today prioritizes participant welfare. Let's review some key terms. Archival research uses past records. Attrition is when participants drop out over time. Case studies focus on a few individuals. Correlation describes relationships between variables, and experiments test cause and effect. Understanding these terms helps you navigate psychological research and interpret findings accurately. More key terms: the independent variable is manipulated, the dependent variable is measured, and confounding variables are outside factors that can affect results. Reliability means consistent results, while validity means accurate measurement. These concepts are fundamental for designing and interpreting research. Sampling is how researchers select participants. A random sample gives everyone an equal chance, while random assignment divides participants into groups. Bias can occur if samples aren't representative or if researchers influence results. Peer review and replication help ensure that findings are trustworthy and not the result of bias or chance. Research enables scientists to separate fact from opinion and build reliable knowledge. By testing theories and hypotheses, scientists refine their understanding of the world. Good research informs public policy and personal decisions, helping us make choices based on evidence rather than guesswork. Different research methods offer unique strengths. Case studies provide depth, naturalistic observation offers realism, surveys gather broad data, and archival research uses existing records. Longitudinal and cross-sectional studies help us understand change over time. Each method contributes to a fuller picture of human behavior. Analyzing findings involves using statistics to determine relationships and significance. Experiments allow for cause and effect conclusions, while peer review and replication ensure reliability. Only findings that can be consistently replicated become accepted as scientific knowledge. Ethical guidelines protect participants in both human and animal research. Informed consent, debriefing, and oversight by review boards are essential. These safeguards ensure that research is conducted responsibly and that the rights and welfare of participants are always respected. Psychological research helps us understand ourselves and the world around us. By following rigorous methods and ethical standards, psychologists provide insights that improve lives, shape policy, and advance knowledge. Whether you're a student, policymaker, or simply curious, understanding research empowers you to make informed decisions. As technology and society evolve, new questions and challenges will arise. Psychological research will continue to adapt, using innovative methods and maintaining high ethical standards. By staying informed and critical, we can all benefit from the knowledge that research provides, making our world a better, more understanding place.